Memorandum of Association of a limited liability company. Like a nation derives all its powers from the constitution, a limited liability company derives its strength from the Memorandum of Association. Therefore, the Memorandum of Association of a limited liability company is also referred to as its charter or constitution. Section 4 of the Act stipulates compliance with the Table A to E as given in Schedule 1 while drawing the Memorandum of Association. Table A is used by companies limited by shares, while Table B is used by companies limited by guarantee not having a share capital, and Table C finds use in company limited by guarantee having a share capital. An unlimited company not having a share capital uses Table D, and having a share capital makes use of Table E. Memorandum, being a core document, is always printed and is manually signed by signatories to the memorandum. While the companies are required to comply with the contents of the Table A to E, it is the discretion of the company to have better and more comprehensive provisions without contravening the contents of the tables as specified. I am Vittal Prabhu, bringing you the weekly video on business law refresher. Hope you will find the video interesting and useful. Memorandum of a company limited by shares based on Table A starts with the first clause, name clause. Name clause briefly indicates the name of the company coming into existence. The name is a symbol of a company's existence. It invariably refers to the main objects of the company, just like VRL Logistics talks of logistics. It should end with limited for a public limited company, private limited otherwise. It should not resemble the name of any other existing registered company. Name being quite crucial for a company, proper care has to be taken, and the name should not suggest any connection with an unlawful activity. It should not mislead in terms of the size and area of operations of the company, and compliance with the provisions of emblems and names, Prevention of Improper Use Act 1950 is mandatory. Name for a corporate is quite consequential. It has to be painted or affixed on outside of every office conspicuously. It is printed on all business letters, invoices, notices. Changing name has got standard procedure to follow involving special resolution, approval of central government, and filing with the registrar of companies. The second clause as per Table A is situation clause or domicile clause. The situation clause or domicile clause talks of the location of the registered office of the company. It is required for receiving all official communications. The verification of the registered office is mandatory within 30 days of incorporation of a company, and the address has to appear on all business letters and notices along with the name of the company. It is required that the name and address of registered office is affixed or painted outside every place of business. Whenever the registered office is shifted within a state or between states, there is a need to obtain fresh certificate of incorporation after passing necessary resolution and getting governmental approval, followed by filing with the ROC. Objects clause is the third but the most prominent clause of the memorandum. The objects clause focuses on the main objects to be pursued by the company and also indicates the matters which are necessary for furtherance of the objects. The company is supposed to follow the law of the land and stay compliant with the Companies Act, and it can do any act which is necessary for or incidental to the attainment of the objects specified in the memorandum. What should be the objects is the discretion of the subscribers to the Memorandum of Association. Memorandum in general and objects clause in particular draws a line within which company has to operate. Any action outside this perimeter is called ultravires the company, which is fully void and not binding. This is the reason objects clause of a company is considered almost sacrosanct, and changing it involves complex procedure of special resolution, postal ballot, and giving an exit option for dissenting shareholders. Clause 4 is on liability of shareholders. In a company limited by shares, the liability is limited to the amount unpaid on the shares held by the members. However, in a company limited by guarantee, it is restricted to the amount which each member undertakes to contribute on winding up towards assets, liabilities and debts, expenses of winding up, and also towards adjustment of claims between contributories. Capital clause talks of the composition of the capital structure of the company. Capital clause elaborates on the types of securities and their respective face values and their share in the aggregate capital mix of the company. In the memorandum, every subscriber indicates his intention to take up shares mentioned opposite his name, and when it comes to paid up share capital, a public company must have a minimum of rupees 5 lakhs as paid up capital, and the amount is rupees 1 lakh when it comes to a private company. The sixth and the last clause of a memorandum is association clause. Association clause is declaratory in nature. The subscribers to the memorandum declare their intention to form an association, and they agree to subscribe to the number of shares mentioned against their name. And at the end of this declaration, they affix their signature against their respective names, and they become subscribers to the memorandum of association. A memorandum of association need to be signed by at least 7 subscribers in respect of a public limited company, and the number is 2 when it comes to a private limited company. Considering the prominence of memorandum as a primary document, its alteration is subject to a lot of restrictions. Even where alteration is allowed, it cannot require a member to purchase more shares, or it can't increase his liability in any other way. Every alteration must not constitute a fraud on the minority, and any alteration in breach of a contract is also not permitted except when allowed by court on merit. Suffice to say, companies limited by shares follow Table A, which specifies 6 clauses comprising name, situation, objects, liability, capital, and association.